Hi, babe.
I didn't really think using the green screen for something before a trip would be appropriate, but here we are, the second time ever. I am leaving the country because of something Tommy related, so this is pretty exciting. I pretty much knew about this project, the Disaster Artist, about shortly after I discovered The Room, which was like around 2013. When I saw the Nostalgia Critic review with my ex, I think like right after we watched The Room and right after for further research the day after, we discovered that this was happening. And the fact that I'm fucking going to London to see this with James Franco being present is just fucking freaky.
Electricity go in and also electricity go out.
This was somehow an enormous journey. And this is an important station of this journey. I don't know. This journey is definitely going to go on because we still have Best Friends 2 coming out and probably all sorts of Tommy related shit. But we've got... It's weird how many things have happened because of The Room and Tommy. This movie, this channel was very inspired by everything. I don't think I would have had the balls to do this if I wasn't so obsessed with this particular little film. Ooh. So, before anything happens and I step into the plane, yo, Tommy and Greg, if you're seeing this, thank you for making life so fucking exciting.
Hey, I'm Tommy Wiseau. And I'm Greg Sestero, and you're watching The Movie Void. Yeah, enjoy it.
Welcome to The Movie Void, where we review whatever the fuck we feel like reviewing. The events that you are about to see have already taken place. That is why I look so done, because I am fucking done. I actually had some footage of me saying hello to you guys at the Cologne airport. However, the mic was not on and there is absolutely no sound on it, so that is why we're starting over here. Well, let's get into action, shall we? Oh, hi, doggy. So here we are again, reporting live from the travesties of an airplane. You know what they say.
Love is blind.
This time, it's not just that things aren't making sense outside. Everything's pitch black outside. Wish me luck and survival skills. I do recommend this wine. It ain't bad at all. I am not in the UK. I am in the UK. I am not in the UK. I am in the UK. So, dearest voiders, we have checked in to this beautiful little room here. Let's go!
God save the Queen!
What a Ferris wheel, Mark. Look, it's Big Fucker. Big Ben in a Ferris wheel. Okay, I'm about to have an eggnog latte. I haven't had one of these in years. Fuck, that's good. So, we are walking down the streets of London, and we're having quite a problem locating some booze. It's really tough, especially after 11 p.m. So, I gotta say, I feel offended. And whatever we do, we are going to find some booze tonight. Okay, this was a weird night. We had such trouble finding something to drink after 11 p.m. What is wrong with London? You know, I usually bitch about Germany and all its bullshitness, but we don't have these stupid rules like that you can't buy booze at a store after 11 p.m. What the fuck is that even? And now I'm back in the hotel, and I got and still managed to get some wine here. And this is what is this? This is I never heard of this ever. It's an Ayrum product of Spain. Usually I trust Spanish stuff, but this smells like aftertaste. Let's check it out. No! This actually ain't bad at all. Well, today was a little exhausting, but we made it here. Let's hope tomorrow goes well, and that we can get the entire crew into the screening of the Disaster Artist tomorrow, and that James Franco is nice to us. Good night, dearest voiders. We'll see you tomorrow.
You jogging, son. Go up. You want to see it. So spectacular. It's really fun.
Good morning. Ugh. I still need to put my hat on and dress up and everything. So I'm gonna do that. There's seems to have been a handful of returns at the Prince Charles Cinema. I'm just going to sell them at 6 o'clock to the first people who are standing in the queue. So we're gonna go and try to get the entire crew inside. Okay guys, I'm all dolled up, making my way to the Prince Charles Cinema, seeing if we can get that one more ticket for our crew, and I even got myself this, double belt. This time I'm going full frontal here. Gotta be rushing. There's probably gonna be the queue the size of my ass. Once I'm there, wish me luck. So as the freak that I am, once again I have managed to beat a queue. I'm literally again the first person standing outside the Prince Charles Cinema, and we will be getting some tickets in the next 2 hours. So we are definitely seeing the Disaster Artist tonight. Okay, it's 1 hour before the tickets go on sale, and we're all waiting all enthusiastically to get them. It's going to be a crazy night. So everybody on 3, 1, 2, 3. You're tearing me apart, Lisa! 20 more minutes, we're getting more and more and more and more people. And there's these security guys. They're either cosplaying for the crown, or they're in the queue. Or they're here for James Franco. We don't know. Okay, I got it. This is happening right now. I'm in here. This is actually happening. I can't believe it.
Before you see the movie, I would like to introduce two people who are going to tell us a little bit about what it was like bringing this film to the big screen. Please put your hands together and welcome star of the movie, Dave Franco, and star and director, James Franco! Guys, lovely to have you here. Congratulations on the movie. I've seen it. These guys haven't seen it yet. They're in for a treat, though, aren't they? And I'm right in saying you don't actually have to have seen The Room to really appreciate the disaster.
We found that you don't.
How many people here have seen The Room?
Oh, yeah. It's a good crowd. Well, you'll enjoy it even more. You'll get all the Easter eggs.
So, the first thing I want to talk about is your performance as Tommy Wiseau, James, because it's an incredible performance, and it really looks like you're having a lot of fun playing him.
I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime character. He's unlike probably any human being that has ever lived. Some say he's not a human being. One description I've heard of The Room is it's as if an alien from another planet came down and tried to kind of make a movie about how he understood humans, because it's just a little off always. But it was incredibly fun. One thing I needed, you know, I knew, well, I came to the story through the book, and the book was this very moving story about these outsiders that had a dream to make a movie, and basically that's the story of every artist, you know, whether they make, you know, Apocalypse Now or they make, you know, The Room, and so I thought this is a story I want to tell because it'll be unlike any Hollywood story, because Tommy is unlike any person, but it will also be like every Hollywood story, because most people that come to Hollywood, and you have to struggle, they know what it's like to be, you know, you start at the bottom and you have to really, you know, fight for your vision, and so I thought if we could capture both of those things, that we'd have something special.
He texted me at one point, so we were both pretty late to the game with The Room, but he texted me one night and said, if you haven't seen this movie, watch it immediately. We need to make our own movie about it. And so at the time, I was working in Boston, and I watched The Room for the first time by myself in a hotel room, and that's not the way to watch that movie. Just because you want people to turn to it and be like, what the hell is this movie? So I finished that feeling very unsettled and not really knowing how to feel.
A point in the movie where you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to tell my brother no again.
I powered through that second sex scene that like happened like
The comfortable sex scene on the stairwell.
But then soon after I went to one of the midnight screenings and immediately understood the cult status of the movie, and since then we've both seen the movie 25 to 30 times, which is literally more than any movie in existence. So.
Wow. Okay, so James, tell me, what is the key to Tommy then, becoming Tommy? What's the essence of writing?
Well, let's get down to it. That's what. How do you become Tommy? The book was a great starting point. You know, nobody knows Tommy better than Greg Sestero, and in fact, in the book, they do go into Tommy's past a little bit, but he, you know, Greg and Tom Bissell, the other writer, are really smart about the way they do it, and they still shroud it in mystery, and they use language like, imagine a young boy in an Eastern Bloc country, and he sees an American movie for the first time, and he starts to equate, you know, coming to America and escaping his, you know, his surroundings with breaking into the movies. And in that sense, you know, that reading of the story was so powerful to me because it's actually, you know, the story of James Dean in a way, where James Dean lost his mother at age 8 and his father sent him away to live with his aunt and uncle, and so had this huge hole in his heart and soul and thought, if I make it into the movies, then I'll be worth something, I'll be loved. And it was sort of the same way with Tommy, you know, I kind of, that's how I understood him. There's also a part in the book where we sort of go into it a little in the sense that Tommy kind of hits a bottom here of just being completely rejected by the town. But in the book, it gets even darker that, you know, Tommy was leaving messages and might have even been suicidal, you know, right before he showed up with the script of The Room. And when you think about it that way, it's so moving to me because he is channeling this incredibly dark, you know, place and these feelings and putting it into his film. Because obviously, you know, he commits suicide at the end of the film. And so what that showed me was not only did he take The Room very seriously when he made it, it maybe saved his life. You know, it was like, I'm going to go all in. I'm putting $6 million down. I'm making this thing. And I have to say for Tommy, and I know he's a regular here, and I've really come to love the guy, I think he's done everyone a service by then, you know, rewriting history and saying that he intended it to be a comedy, because what he's allowing us to do is laugh. He's giving us permission to laugh because it is a kind of arrogance. The Tommy that he puts on now is, you know, affably arrogant. Yeah, I intend to do it that way, and, you know, he's the greatest director, and, you know, all that stuff. And it allows you to laugh. And what's so beautiful about Tommy is, and very smart about Tommy is, he's capitalized on this ironic success. And when he comes to screenings like this, the energy, it's not cruel laughter. People love to see Tommy, you know, and it's amazing. And so it's actually a very communal thing. And he now says himself about The Room, as people that have seen it here know, The Room is a safe place. You can laugh, you can cry, you can do whatever you like, express yourself, just don't hurt yourself.
You can laugh, you can cry, you can express yourself, but please don't hurt each other.
That's an amazing gift that he's given all of The Room fans. It's human behavior.
And what was it like for you, Dave, seeing your brother as Tommy Wiseau, both, I believe, on camera and off camera as well?
Yeah, he stayed in character while he was directing us, which it was as weird as you would think. But I mean, there was an adjustment period for everyone. I think I got used to it a little bit quicker than most people, just because I know him pretty well, and there's not much he can do that surprises me anymore. But Seth Rogen, for example, he took about 2 weeks before he could even look him in the face without laughing. But it was, I mean, it added to just the meta weirdness of it all and put us all in the right mind space, yeah.
Sorry, Dad, go.
I was just going to say, tell him about the secret tapes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, tell me about the secret tapes.
Okay, so the other thing about Tommy is, you know, he's a real guy, and I played probably 8 or 9 characters based on real people, living and dead. They're always different, and sometimes you come across a living person like Tommy who has made a huge transition in his life and rewritten history. And so I thought it would be very hard to go to Tommy and ask him for the truth about who he was when he was making The Room, before The Room came out, before he took on, you know, the Tommy Wiseau comedic director persona. But what I had something else that was like actor gold. Tommy used to record everything. You know, in The Room, he suspects Lisa of cheating on him, and he's like, oh, I will record.
I don't know, I would record her conversation, and he like whips out a little mini tape recorder or something and hooks it up to the phone. That was straight from his life. You're like, yeah, he wouldn't have a mini tape in his pocket or whatever. Actually, Tommy would, because he recorded every single conversation. And in addition to that, he would drive around in his car in Los Angeles and talk to himself on this mini and had hundreds of these tapes. And we're talking 20 years ago, 5 or 6 years before The Room. And his good friend Greg stole some of those tapes 20 years ago.
As good friends do.
And digitized them. And so when I was getting ready to play Tommy, he gave them to me, and they were incredible. I have them on my phone if you want to hear a little bit. But I mean, I won't play like the very personal stuff. But it was like, and he knows I have secret tapes. James, you always, you know, everybody asking me about secret tape. And it was incredible. You know, he's talking about acting teachers and like, you know, he treated me different than all other actors in class. You know? I think he sensed my power. He intimidated. And
I asked him if he can give me a tape because he has the class 3:30. It was okay, but again, I have an argument with him as usual about the language. This time was he said, "Why don't you do the same thing in French? It's so stupid." I know what his problem is. I know what his problem is. Because he knows I'm very powerful. And he can feel this power. Okay? And if you feel the power, you can be afraid. That's why I feel personal. That he's probably afraid, and that's why he thinking, okay, let's see what Thomas say now, and also he creates some kind of rules that you cannot do a certain thing or begin it. I don't know exactly where he was. I didn't check yet.
And also, you would think that Tommy would kind of take a step back through this whole process and be like, oh my God, you know, they're making a movie about my life, but like he's just taking it in stride as if this was his plan all along. If anything, we talk about it, it's like, if anything, it's like it happened too late. It happened 5 years too late.
He was expecting it earlier, yeah. Like he showed up to then the other thing, the other hurdle sort of to get the rights was he had in his contract that he would have a scene in the movie, and I was fine with that. You know, honestly, like I thought, okay, it's cool. It would be cool to have the real Greg and real Tommy in there, you know, but they have to be sort of in the background. Like it won't make sense if they're front and center. And Tommy kept demanding that it be a scene with me, and he tried to explain like it's not that kind of movie, Tommy. I'm playing you. We couldn't really say like, we know that you cannot play anything other than yourself, but, and then I kept demanding it, so we wrote this scene that could easily be cut out. Anyway, he showed up. We did not know what he would act like. He turned out to be incredibly sweet, but the scene was very bizarre, as you can imagine. He ended up hitting on me, but like, if you think about it, I'm playing him. So, and he was calling me Tommy, you know, and he's like, so Tommy, so what do you say? We go? And I'm like, go where? He's like, back to my place. Wow, the ultimate. And then we cut it out, you know, I watched it, put it in, and we're like, all right, that's weird, get that out of there.
Greg then, okay, I mean, he is an interesting character too. I mean, so it's a similar question. I mean, you met him, and I'm assuming you talked with him. I mean, you know, how did you find a way into Greg?
Yeah, Greg on the surface is the normal one, but Greg's weird.
But I always say, like, okay, Tommy's obviously strange, but maybe Greg's just as weird.
So for me, I guess the hardest part was the fact that Greg is making really poor decisions throughout our entire movie, and it was my job to try to justify all those decisions and make the audience understand why he's staying on this journey with this madman. And with Greg, so I sat down with him a few times before we started filming, and I asked him about everything, but specifically wanted to know, why he stuck it out with Tommy, why he was drawn to him in the first place. And he talked a lot about how when you are a young actor, especially, in his case and for a lot of actors, everyone in his life was telling him that he couldn't do it, that it was not a possibility. And then he met Tommy, and as weird as he was, Tommy encouraged him, and he was his ally, and that's invaluable as a young actor. And so I definitely had that in the back of my mind. And then on top of that, I really was curious if during production of The Room he ever thought that it could be a good movie. And he claims that he did not, but I don't fully believe him just because, again, as a young actor, it's like there's nothing more exciting than just getting on set. And once you're there, you almost just put your head down and you just give it everything you have. And you have to have this blind ambition and think that everything's going well, even if everyone from the outside can recognize that what you're doing is objectively bad. But I've been in these scenarios where in my career I've been on set and I thought everything was going great, and people on set were talking about awards for the movie, and I bought into the hype, and the movie came out, and not only was it not good, it was a full-on piece of shit. And so it's just one of those things where, and I'll feel this for the rest of my career, it's like you're on set and you have these moments where, again, you're giving it everything you have, and you still question, you're like, is what I'm doing actually good, or is this a total mess? And it's just, I can really relate to him.
You've worked together before, but not on a film. That's right, isn't it? You've done some sketches.
Little bits here and there. I mean, we did a series of videos for Funny or Die that where I played a ridiculous acting coach, and he was my student. And it was actually in it's another parallel between us and Tommy and Greg, where it was in our apartment when we lived together. And it was actually only 2 blocks away from where Tommy and Greg had lived together in Los Angeles when they first came there. And so we did these series of videos, and I'm having him do silly things to help him become a better actor. When I first read the book, I mean, I always want to work with him. I think he's a great actor. He said no a couple of times before, but I thought this is the one. Not only are Greg and Tommy as close as brothers, and not only would our relationship as brothers benefit the movie and our chemistry, but having done those videos, it was basically the seed of the relationship here. If you think about it, Tommy's kind of a crazy director, and he's directing Greg, and so I knew just from those videos that it was the right casting.
Spent 2.5, 3 months trying to grow my own beard, and trying. Unfortunately, I grow a strong goatee, but the sides just don't fill in. And I just would not recommend anyone to ever wear a fake beard ever, just because it's literally gluing fucking fur onto your face. So just, it gives me PTSD even talking about this.
And how were the prosthetics then? Were they better than the beard?
It is. I'll take prosthetics over hair glued to your face any day. I had cheeks, a bridge on the nose, a chin, the lazy eyelid, a wig, and then contacts. And it was about 2.5 hours every morning. And I was the director, so I had to get there before everybody, 2.5 hours before everyone, because we couldn't set up, get it all, going and then go into makeup, because, they'd be waiting around 2 hours. And I worked about 17, 18 hours every day.
Okay, I guess one final question, because I'm sure these guys are very eager to see the movie. You've shown it to Tommy, I presume. Did you screen it for him? What was his reaction?
We offered to screen it. Yeah, he didn't.
He chose to wait to watch it at South by Southwest in Austin. So
I guess he's very busy. He doesn't have time.
So this is where we premiered the movie, and the first time Tommy watched it was with a crowd of 1,000 people. So It was basically 1,000 people watching Tommy watch his life on screen. So we were nervous about his reaction. Just we figured he would like it just because we make him very sympathetic in the movie, and our movie in general, it's very respectful. We love The Room. This is like our love letter to The Room. But you never know. Tommy's he's an eccentric dude, so you never know. And so during the screening, we were kind of looking down the aisle to try to gauge his reaction, and of course he was wearing his sunglasses, and he was just kind of stone-faced, so we're like, who knows? So the screening...
Well, the audience around him was going nuts. But
everyone else seems to really like it, and so finally after the screening, we went up to him, and we're like, what do you think, Tommy? And
he said, oh, I approve 99.9%. And we just figured something out. So I was like, what's the 0.1%? And you'd think he'd, have, I didn't say that, or that's not true, or whatever. And he's like, as a director to director, just some advice. He's like, I think you should look at lighting and beginning of your phone a little off. But
we're like, Tommy, you were wearing sunglasses.
I say that 99.9%, but I don't say the lighting. I'm like, dude, come on, I didn't make that story out like you said that. And he's like, no, not true. I say 0.1% because of the way you throw football. Oh, because you're all American, you grew up throwing football, right? God, that's where much better in this throw chain. And he's like, I see your movie 3 times now, and it moved me very much. I'm like, really? What scenes? He's like, well, there are 2 scenes. I'm like, he goes, Greg's scene. Thank you. Greg's scene. He goes, and scene at end of movie, where Greg gave me advice and helped me. That he really did that, and made me very emotional. When I see that scene, I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. He's like, yeah, and they're really sweet. And he said to me again, he's like, yeah, Greg, my best friend. It was so sweet. And then I go, I'm like, so what's Greg's scene? And he's like, a scene with Greg in swimming pool. That's your favorite scene. You're not in that scene. He's like, no, but it's my favorite scene. Made me very emotional. He's talking about IMDb with his girlfriend. Yeah, but I'm like, why does it make you emotional? He's like, because in swimming pool you feel good.
So I just got out of the Disaster Artist, and before I review the movie myself, I want to ask a few people who have all seen it with me what their first impressions was. What did you think?
I actually thought the film was actually pretty hilarious, for a the type of biopic film. And since I've seen The Room a couple of times with some friends, mostly drunk, or some of the means gone, it was definitely well made and really funny. I loved it. Definitely one of the best films I've seen this month.
I loved it too. Some things were changed around from the book.
I haven't. No, sadly I haven't read the book. It's in my list. Okay. I still have to read the other books that everyone else has sent me as well.
I still highly recommend it.
I'm gonna do it, especially since James Franco and Dave Franco was basically saying, yeah, the book is what inspired them as well before the film. So definitely, I can't wait to read it. I'm gonna tell everyone I know to watch it.
It
definitely,
deserves
it's so
the
good.
Oscars.
He better be nominated. At least get a nomination. At least get a nomination.
Yeah, at least. So how did you like The Disaster Artist?
I loved it. Yeah, great film. I think that James Franco really nailed the accent, and it really came across as Tommy. Yeah.
And the mannerisms were perfect, especially the...
Yeah, definitely. Especially the scenes at the end, they were brilliant. James Franco said that there was about 25 minutes of those clips. I'd love to see them because they were spot on, really good.
I so hope that they give us some deleted scenes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Welcome to our movie review channel called The Movie Void, and we flew in from Germany to watch The Disaster Artist also, and we're just collecting some first impressions. How did you guys like it?
We I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved every second.
That was
yeah.
amazing.
Compared to the book, did you think that it was a good adaptation?
Oh, definitely, absolutely. Yeah, have to read it again now. You guys are doing it too.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
Even though I had the feeling some details were left, like with the supporting characters, like the guy who just suddenly dropped in and how many people were fired. Did you think those were missing a little in the film or not?
I think so, but yeah, that would have been cool to put
As
in the book.
someone like who hasn't read the
In the film,
book, I
sorry.
wouldn't say so because I feel like it's good that they spent time on setting up the relationship with them in the beginning, and then like
Yeah.
you know, like as someone who hasn't read it, it's like you kind of get the idea of like how bad the production was, even if it doesn't go into all the details. So it's kind of I think it's good how they did it.
Yeah, you said that very well. What were your favorite scenes, for example?
Oh gosh.
I don't even
Definitely
know.
Mark in the swimming pool.
Yeah,
My
it's
favorite.
Oh my god, Mark in a swimming pool.
No. IMDb credits.
Another course.
I always cried every time you could see like the set and stuff. Like every time they were on anything with Seth Rogen, how he just couldn't deal with how bad everything was.
The
and,
premiere
like,
scene was so sad,
Yeah.
but it was so like nice at the end as well. I like that. Yeah.
it was overall, I think, like really good film.
Yeah.
So definitely Oscar. Give this movie
Oh,
an Oscar.
James Franco.
Give James Franco an Oscar.
Give James Franco an Oscar.
Fuck Leo. Give it to
Tommy,
James.
and then
Tommy. Give him an honorary one.
Yeah.
His work in the room.
Lifetime award for Tommy.
Yes,
Wiseau.
absolutely.
Lifetime award for Tommy.
Oh my
Wiseau.
god.
Yes.
Thank you guys. It was very lovely having you.
A very good night.
Okay, so you saw The Disaster Artist. How did you like the film?
I thought it was a triumph.
What were your favorite scenes?
Oh god, it's amazing. I mean, James Franco just sinks into that role so well. It's quite a remarkable physical transformation. I mean, all the scenes, all the covers of the original film are just amazing. It's just an amazing work.
Did this movie deserve an Oscar? Is James Franco Oscar worthy now after making this film?
Oh, I think it definitely would be a worthy film. I've seen far worse films have won far more Oscars than this one. And then so did the original, of course.
Of course. Okay, well, welcome to the Movie Void, you guys. So, how did you enjoy the movie?
Which movie?
Disaster Artist.
Yeah, it was really good, man.
It was fucking
It was
wonderful.
it was tragically enlightening.
I would
guess.
say it's the best love story we've seen all year.
Yeah.
And it is a love story.
It is.
I genuinely, as a man who identifies as a creative, as my sexuality, I would say that I am inspired by that because.
Sexually and creatively,
Yeah, I mean,
right? You know, like,
just
are you
made-
not inspired? You're holding the microphone.
It made me
So,
feel
like,
real good.
I'm totally inspired.
Are you totally inspired? What are you going to do when you get home tonight?
I'm going to review this film.
In a matter of 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what The Disaster Artist was. It could have been a parody. It wasn't. It could have been a love letter to The Room. It wasn't. Do you know what it was? It was a love letter to dreamers.
Definitely.
Everyone out there, it was a love letter to dreamers.
Oh, that is-
Everyone who was wanting to make something, it was a love letter to them. Because then go, weren't these people stupid? Like these people right here. No, it wasn't that. What it was, no, these people believed in what they were doing. It doesn't matter how much talent they had, they still believed in it, so they fucking did it. And it is genuinely a beautiful film.
It is.
That anyone can watch, anyone can see, and go, no, I want to do that as well. That's the way I feel about it. But you know, if people want to sit there and laugh,
I
fair
agree.
play. Yeah.
Especially for that beautiful aspect, I think this movie is so Oscar worthy of everything.
100%. 100%. Fuck the Oscars. The Oscars.
I mean, what else is in contention? What?
No, well, let's not go to the Oscars.
Suburbicon. Fuck off.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Oscars need to be judged 10 years after they come out because. I'm taking
This is going to be a 25-minute video if you bring up that point.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, like, Disaster Artist needs to win. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. James Franco doesn't do an impression. He doesn't. He is just incredible. Yeah, he's just great. But also Dave Franco as well. Like he's us. He's us experiencing Tommy Wiseau. Like he's us there in the moment going, what the fuck's going on? And he does it incredibly. And even the supporting cast like Paul Scheer. Like the scene where he gets pissed off with him is just wonderful to watch. Like everything about it is incredible.
Thank
Great
you.
night.
Loved it. So much for the words.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Very entertaining, very funny, a really enjoyable.
It was an unbelievable time. We had an amazing time.
I agree.
Everyone got very aggressive. We had a great time. Do you not agree? We had a great time.
Absolutely.
And do you think it was Oscar worthy?
James Franco, definitely. Best supporting actor Bryan Cranston as himself.
Definitely, yeah. I like really, if this movie does not get an Oscar, I'll be very upset. So
I don't blame you.
So this was like, I think, were you a Room fan in the beginning?
I've never seen The Room.
Oh, you got it.
So
you have to. It's like an amazing experience.
I considered seeing it before, but then I was like, well, I'll let the disaster artist I'll go in blind because I knew I was seeing this, and then I'll be checking out The Room over the weekend probably.
You should, definitely.
Yeah.
The best time, I can totally recommend you if you want to see The Room.
Yeah.
You have the home of The Room, Tommy Wiseau, personally, I heard him say this myself, says that the Prince Charles Cinema is the best place to look at The Room. You're a member?
Yeah.
Definitely check out The Room at the Prince Charles Cinema. It is amazing. Okay. Thank you for the words. So you guys just saw The Disaster Artist. How did you like it?
It was great, really good. James Franco is amazing in that.
Yeah, it was the best film I've seen this year.
Yeah, definitely.
I totally agree with you. And like, we're on this campaign. James Franco definitely deserves the Oscars. What do you say? An Oscar for this?
Yes, 100%.
I reckon it's definitely worthy, to be fair. He did
Yeah.
such a good job playing Tommy Wiseau. It was actually mental.
Yeah, he gets all his mannerisms down, his
Yeah.
facial expressions, his delivery, yeah.
Totally. Have you met Tommy Wiseau ever personally?
I haven't. We are actually
We are
going
gonna
to
meet
meet
him.
in February,
Yeah,
yeah.
because we're going to that thing of the Prince Charles.
Yeah.
Then I'll see you guys again.
Oh, you go?
Hey!
Tommy is a great guy. We've met him before. He's
really?
incredibly nice. Like, he's very open. He will just like walk out of the to the Prince Charles Cinema and just talk to everybody there. There's actually a video online where I play football with him. Like, if you take a look at the channel.
I'll check that out.
So bring spoons.
We'll bring
it's like a
spoons.
huge party. Bring a football. We always throw a football around in front of the Prince Charles Cinema once it's playing. Did you see The Room already?
Yeah,
we have seen The Room,
We've
yeah.
seen it, like, it's literally one of our all-time favourite films.
Yeah, same with me, same with me. So we got our first reactions. A lot of people took a lot of the things I wanted to say already away from me, but nevertheless, let's go review this ourselves.
Oh, Disaster Artist! My gosh, you confused me!
So, I just got back from seeing The Disaster Artist, finally, after all this time of anticipation, and it was really exactly like I expected. A wonderful movie, maybe even the best movie of the year I've seen so far. It is exactly like the person I interviewed earlier. He almost stole these words out of my mouth. It is generally a love letter to dreamers. People who have big plans, big visions in their head. They will feel very inspired by this film. It gives you the message, if you're dreaming something, if you want something big in your life, don't just sit there. Go out there and do it. No matter if you fail or if you succeed, you follow that dream, you follow that vision that you have in your head, just like Tommy and Greg did back in the day. The film generally is really totally focused on Greg Sestero's and Tommy Wiseau's relationship. And it works really well. Like, Dave Franco and James Franco have that brotherly chemistry going on, and then make that best friendship feeling between Tommy and Greg really happen. You really feel it. You really see the intensity between all the things the two of them had to go through. But since the focus is so heavy on our two main characters, Greg and Tommy, a lot of the side characters aren't really that focused on as they were in the book. I don't want to compare the book and the film in terms of quality, because that's just something you don't do. Only stupid people compare books and film to the quality. There are a lot of little side stories, little details in the book that the film doesn't even scratch the surface upon. Especially like minor dialogue, it's not even in there. Like,
if you know the show, my favorite part with Tommy calling Greg saying, "I eat oranges in bed," that's not in it at all.
I eat oranges in bed now. Feels so good. You should try it sometime with your French girl.
But that's not really what's bothering me here that much. The thing is, I would have loved to see something more about people in the crew. For example, Juliette Danielle's role in the room. The problems she had doing the love scene with Tommy, which the book really takes a good focus upon. How embarrassed she was showing the room to her friends and family. And what kind of a good trooper she was when everything got going with the room. How she stood behind the project only to be put into this focus of this terribly bad movie. Doesn't really get shown in the movie, like, at all. Who else, like, gets away in this movie so well without being portrayed as the asshole that he actually truly is, was Sandy Schleer. Seth Rogen plays Sandy Schleer in this movie, and he makes Sandy Schleer look out to be this good guy who was respecting Tommy's vision throughout the entire film, who didn't really agree on anything that Tommy wanted, but who played along and just did his job. That is not who Sandy Schleer was. Sandy Schleer walked out on Tommy a couple of days before production was finished. In the film, Sandy Schleer was shown helping out in the love scenes with Lisa, although that never happened. Those scenes were directed by Tommy alone and nobody else. And I don't think Sandy was at the premiere of The Room either, as far as I know. And Sandy is somebody who distanced himself from the project of The Room in real life, and 7 years later said that he directed The Room and not Tommy. So this is the part where I'm like a little, yeah, come on. You didn't have to make that dude who really backed out on Tommy look like such a good guy. But that's a different story. Overall, I was also, like, at the beginning, very skeptic on how Dave Franco was going to do this whole entire thing. Like, you can see in some Twitter comments and in some Facebook comments where people are talking about Dave Franco. I'm always the one saying, I don't trust Dave Franco playing Greg Sestero. But Dave Franco, you're the man. You did such a fucking good job playing Greg Sestero in this. You made Greg Sestero feel very real. You made the audience see Tommy through the eyes of Greg Sestero, and that worked really, really well. Let's take a look at some other supporting cast members here. Zac Efron playing Chris R. Oh my god, that was amazing. If I hadn't known while walking into this film that Zac Efron is playing Chris R., I wouldn't have recognized Zac Efron at all. Like, it could have been anybody else. I have never seen Zac Efron look so intimidating. Ever. Like, that was incredible. We also have Josh Hutcherson playing Philip Handyman. I think his first name's Philip. The guy who plays Danny. He does such a good job portraying him. The dweebiness of the Danny character, it's totally in there. You totally see that. Like, all the acting in this film was absolutely amazing. Especially on the side of James Franco. James Franco nailed Tommy's character. Like everybody has said before, he's mastered the mannerisms of Tommy, the way Tommy talks. That performance is just absolutely flawless. Also, Sharon Stone was in this movie playing Iris, Greg Sestero's casting agent. I didn't recognize that was Sharon Stone at all. I was still missing the cameos of Greg Sestero personally and Bob Odenkirk. I didn't notice where they were in the film at all. Well, tomorrow I'm going to see a second screening of it, so maybe then I'll notice what they were doing. the movie is really incredible. So before I get to the things I didn't like so much about it, don't worry, those aren't that extreme. But there are a couple of things that bothered me a bit, like the Sandy Schleer thing. This movie's 1 hour and 40 minutes long. It's such a great piece of entertainment as The Disaster Artist is. Could have been made longer. I could have seen this movie go on for 2 hours, if not even more. This could have easily been done in 2 hours and 20 minutes with more focus on certain aspects of the story. The movie made it look like the same crew that started taping The Room on day one left on the same day The Room got finished in production, which isn't the case at all. People were flying off of the set like they were flies on the wall. Like they were just, one day you had this guy behind the camera, the other day you had another guy behind the camera. The dude who played Peter, the psychologist friend of Johnny's in The Room, it's like he wasn't even mentioned at all. You didn't get a single scene with Michelle or the Me Underwears guy. Those characters were treated like they didn't even exist in this film, and that really bothered me because there are a lot of details in The Room that weren't even touched in The Disaster Artist, and I would have loved to see more of that. This doesn't make the movie any less good, but it could have been even better than it was. This movie still is a masterpiece, but involving these characters, putting some more detail in certain things would have made this even greater. And this is where I have to get to something else, which is how the Q&A was handled today. Dearest James Franco, I'm a huge fan of your work. But what was that tonight? Really, what was that? After The Disaster Artist was shown, James Franco came through the back door. He brought a guy to ask him questions for the Q&A. And maybe let 5 people ask him something. 5 people, max. The staff of the Prince Charles Cinema wasn't even allowed to take a photo with James Franco himself. Yet alone, anybody in the crowd wasn't even allowed a meter near him. He just felt so distanced, and he was just lying back there like this, answering everything in this really lazy way. He didn't feel like he was part of this experience. And the Prince Charles Cinema, according to Tommy Wiseau, is the central home of The Room. James Franco didn't do that justice at all. I mean, back when we were at the Best Friends premiere in September, Tommy was spoke to me before I even had the chance to speak to him. He saw me that I was the first in line in the queue, and when I was going to the bathroom behind me, all of a sudden I hear Tommy saying, "I see you, you're the first in the queue." And then we played football together, and the second after the Best Friends screening, Tommy just hugged me and said, "Let's go for a selfie." And that was just so beautiful. You really noticed that this guy appreciated his fans, that this guy was traveling to London to be there to the people who brought him this far. I didn't get that feeling from James Franco. I know I sound like I'm a little butthurt twat complaining about that. But as somebody who has met Tommy, and as a huge fan of The Room, and as just someone who's been to a lot of Q&As in the last year, gotta say, James Franco, you could have done a better job. But you know what? Guys, this review ain't done yet. We still have a whole day tomorrow, and I'm seeing The Disaster Artist again tomorrow. So you're going to get some more thoughts of mine during the day while we're preparing for the second screening. And you're going to get more thoughts of mine on The Disaster Artist after the second screening. So there's still a lot to talk about, but these are so far my first impressions.
You jogging, son. Go up. You want to see it. So spectacular. It's really fun.
Good morning. Having a cigarette outside of on the hotel balcony. Still having a lot of afterthoughts about the movie and looking forward to the second screening today to analyze a few more details. I just thought of something. I remember in certain interviews, Tommy approved 99% of the film because
football, the way he threw the football, I don't know, you saw, I don't know.
No, I think I call it bull. He said he did not like lighting in the beginning of the movie.
Greg is my
No, he said, yeah, the lighting was uneven from the first part to the second part.
What did I say about football, Greg?
So that you know.
Okay. You don't like his form?
Tommy grew up all-American guy throwing football, and he think I don't throw it well. I don't approve about the way James Franco threw the football either. He just sort of made it out to make Tommy look ridiculous by throwing the football. I know it's funny and I know it's a caricature, but I think it's important for Tommy that he throws the football properly. If you look at all the times Tommy has ever thrown a football in one of his films, he does it with a certain grace, and James Franco did not capture that grace. Look at it this way. Greg is my best friend. He teach me how to throw football. James Franco did not throw football the way Greg teach me to throw football. Thinking of that with that sentiment in mind throws a different light on Tommy's statement, don't you think? I'm gonna go grab some lunch, and then we're gonna talk some more. God damn it, London, shut up! And then we're gonna talk some more about the changes between book and film.
Slip inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find a better place to play? You said that you've never been, but all the things that you've seen slowly fade away. So I start a revolution from my bed, 'cause you said the brains I had went to my head. Step outside.
So I'm sitting here in York and Albany, and I'm thinking more of the adaptation of the book. And it just hit me that where the book starts off where Tommy and Greg are having dinner right before they start shooting The Room. The film starts during their acting class, so the first time that they meet. It keeps a very chronological line going on, the film, whereas in the book it likes to jump in between chapters between the filming of The Room and the way Tommy and Greg met. But the book ends right at the premiere of The Room. And this is where the film takes it a step further, where I really have to praise the film for doing that. That we get to see Tommy's reaction when he sees the crowd react for the first time to his film. And that pretty much is sort of the heart of The Disaster Artist, because Tommy sees what he has done. It has to live with it. And there is this true, beautiful moment between Greg Sestero and Tommy Wiseau, where Greg Sestero talks to Tommy about how special his creation is, even though people are laughing at it. And I don't want to take away too much of it, because that is maybe the heart of the film itself. But really, the ending is just absolutely beautiful in that movie. Oh, hi, doggy. Time to get all dressed up again. Yeah. Oh, look. It's a Justice League poster. See how much I care. This is how much I care about Justice League. I can just see it. We're gonna get there, and James Franco is gonna be all like, "You guys, I'm sorry I didn't say goodbye yesterday. I was in so much stress. I'm sorry I couldn't come and say goodbye and say hi. I'm sorry I couldn't hang around." Yeah, right, he's gonna do that. So, I'm here at the Picture House Cinema. There's all this stuff going on here. Special event stuff. They won't let us in through this barricade. We're not special enough. Let's see how things turn up tonight. Here we go again.
And you also interviewed this person. Okay, well, I need to prepare for that, so.
Oh my god, guys, you should have seen James Franco today. He walked in with like 20 people surrounding him. It was ridiculous. It was like seriously ridiculous. And as we saw in the Q&A, he brought a guy who asked him questions again. But this time no one from the audience got to say anything at all. So now to wrap the review up. So I still did not see Bob Odenkirk or Greg Sestero anywhere in the movie. Like anywhere at all. But what I didn't notice were how it was done camera-wise. Most of the shots you get of things happening offset of the room were done with a hand camera. Like, it wasn't like a shaky camera or anything like that, not found footage style, but it was like, you notice that the camera was held with a hand. And when it was, they were filming the shots of the room itself, it was done with tripods and stuff like that. Which also brings me to how they recreated the room, which was done very well. At the end, before the credits come, you actually have side-by-side comparisons of how the room looked like and how the actual reenactment of the room looked like. So that worked very well. And what else I didn't mention yesterday, they really put a big effort into making the soundtrack fit the times as well as it should, even though this was all taking place in the late 90s, like the beginnings where Tommy and Greg met. They used a lot of stuff from the early 90s, like you get some CC Penista and you get "Gonna Give You Up" song going on. You have "Good Vibrations" by Marky Mark, back then known as Marky Mark, today known as Mark Wahlberg.
What? No.
Another thing that was completely different from the book and the story is that Greg Sestero was basically forced to make the room with Tommy. He was like he originally had to play this minor part, and Tommy pretty much blackmailed him, and he was like, he even had another actor who was supposed to play Mark and fired him like live on set. He'd actually like do shoots for the room where Mark was played by the other actor where the cameras weren't rolling. And that was something that wasn't mentioned in the film at all. But other than that, everything was pretty amazing. I think now that I complain so much about it, it doesn't sound as good as it is, but it really, really, really is maybe the best film of the year. And this pretty much finishes up the review. And you will join me on the journey back home tomorrow. And if you're just watching the short version of this, you will see me when you see me. Bye-bye.
Can we just take it again? Try to lose the accent.
The rules to the club are simple. And the guarding before was dark.
New jogging son, go up, you want to see it. So it's spectacular. It's really fun.
Having some Bloody Marys in the morning. And this is bacon, even though it tastes like ham, but it's good. And number 2. We are at the airport. Helpful advice to everybody who would like to take the edge off with a good little bottle of beer. Do so before you hit the airport, because there is no inside place where you are allowed to drink, and you're practically forced to stand here like an idiotic alcoholic with your beer in your butt and not really able to drink inside. If you're scared of flying, like we are, do that before you get to the airport. So I just went through security. I feel violated. The dude gently brushed my cock. If I was sensitive, I'd probably be writing #MeToos about this situation on Facebook.
Well, my friends, here we are again after this long-ass fucking journey. Oh well, it was fun. And I know we are going to be back in London sometime in February when Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero come back with the finalized version of Best Friends. I am going to try to get us something exclusive for that episode. Like something like an interview maybe with Tommy or with Greg or with one of the directors of Best Friends. We're going to go further down the line this time. Let's hope that works out. Anyway, with this video, we are officially over 10,000 views and somewhat of a more relevant channel now, if you want to see it that way.
I've had 1 million views for a little while now.
Thank you guys. Thanks everyone. Whew, so much adventure. I will really need to sleep my ass off, and I'm going to go do that. So, everyone, you will see me when you see me. I have no idea what we're doing next, if we are doing our Christmas specials already, or if we're maybe doing a German review for a change again. Keep your eyes open for stuff and things. Yeah, like I said, you will see me when you see me. Bye-bye.
Train station, please. Make the red lights turn green. Endlessly, my black cab rolls through the neon disease. Endlessly.
I eat oranges in bed now. Feels so good. You should try it sometime with your French girl. Call me.